What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to twist it up, flip the script, and bring some Q&A out the gate to get John Fosco fired up, because y'all love that. I know it.
Hey, you're like poking the lion, but I'm not going to resist.
No, and people love getting blasted on the show, dude. They bring these questions.
I think people love getting blasted. I think, yes, they do. Yes.
Stay there. I love it. Hey, today's brought to you by Funrise, John.
Listen, Funrise enables you, Cory Gregory, to instantly access high-quality, high-potential private market real estate projects. From high-rises in D.C. to multi-family apartments in L.A.
John Fosco, each Funrise investment allows investors to diversify instantly across dozens of real estate projects. Each one is carefully vetted out and actively managed by Funrise's team of real estate professionals. And you can check out more information at funrise.com/biceps. Also, it's brought to you by Square Payroll. See, what's so crazy about Square is they have so many other services that people are not aware of, and payroll is one of them, Fosco.
Yeah, I mean, Square started to help businesses accept like any payment. That's why people think of the white Square card reader. And to see their ecosystem of business solutions grow into things like payroll and partnering with lenders, they're just a one-stop shop for small business solutions.
Yeah, it's amazing. You can pay employees, contractors, offer health benefits, sync up employees' hours automatically, all of these things. And for more information, go to square.com/go/biceps today.
Oh, today.
And as we talked about, the script is flipped. We're going straight to butt life, which sounds kind of strange.
Butt life, where you at?
It's a little bit, but let's go. What do you got first for us, Jeremy?
Right. First of all, everyone keep on sending us questions.
Jeremy, you got to bring energy.
Come on, Jeremy.
I know you're a fucking virgin here
in
more ways than 10, but you got to bring some energy here. We're starting a show, okay?
Let's go, Jeremy. Come on.
All right, everyone, keep on sending us those fucking questions at Biz and Biceps on Instagram and Twitter. That's BIZ and Biceps on Instagram and Twitter.
Love it.
We'll send out a free t-shirt if we use your question on the air.
Good job. Butt life, Q1.
A lot of the people I work with engage in gossip, and most of the time it's mean-spirited. I don't like to participate, but I feel like I'm not part of the group when I don't. What do you all suggest?
Groups are for high school. You know, people who think like this, you know, we spend so much time on this show trying to get people ready to win in life, right? To win in the workplace. And to hear somebody talk about groups and gossip and cliques, it has nothing to do with what we talk about. It has nothing to do with success. It has nothing to do with growth. And I think this person needs to literally reread their own question, like I always recommend, and say, do I not know the answer? Like, is any workplace the place to talk about gossip? And do I need to fit in with the people at work who are doing the gossiping and aren't doing the hard work? I mean, these questions, I know we have a very smart listener base, but these questions are fucking stupid sometimes.
Here, let me give you some advice. You're at fucking work. You're not at high school.
Yeah.
The people that are gossiping,
You're a fruit bat, dude.
The people that are gossiping are not giving you a promotion. If you are fucking sitting around because you want to be part of the team, but think about this. Let me feel out of place because I'm not taking part in negative behavior that's not going to contribute to me getting a promotion. Oh, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Anytime you're sitting around talking about someone else, you're not taking the time to make yourself better. So this doesn't make sense on any level except for you want to fit in. Well, guess what? Motherfuckers that rise up don't fit in. So I would be more worried about what the fuck you are doing, and who cares if you're in this group of negative Nancys, man, fuck all that. That's my answer.
Yeah, fuck them, dude. Butt life, Q2.
A few weeks ago, I recently got a team lead management position at my job, but this team lead position has taken a huge toll on my mental health. I'm putting all my all into my employees, but I'm losing the ability to focus on myself, my future goals, and passions I have. My anxiety isn't allowing me to sleep. I'm missing workouts, not eating enough, etc. I want to make time for myself and be at peace, but putting all into my work is all I know. Do I continue to stay in this position to be financially stable, or do I risk everything to leave and follow my passion?
So the one thing I didn't get from this question is what this person's passion is.
Sure.
What I do know is if you don't want to grow at work, why are you at work? I don't think, and this is 2 questions in a row, man. I don't think I've heard 2 questions in a row that are just genuinely stupid. So this person got a promotion, right? They got a fucking promotion,
Which is what everyone's looking for.
which is the objective of all.
Yeah.
Who work anywhere. That means more money, more responsibility, more power. You're a bigger part of the team. And when you get it, the first thing you do is write Business and Biceps a question about the stress that, like, what did you think came with growing in your company before you grew in your company? I mean, do you think people who lead anything don't have more responsibility, more on their mind? It's about managing it. And again, these are people looking to us to tell them how they can lighten the blow of what is reality. And reality is when you get a promotion, you have to work harder, you have to do more. I can't understand individuals like this. What's this individual's name?
This is Brendan.
Yeah, I can't understand people like Brendan. I can almost guarantee people like Brendan, unless they make a radical change, they're never going to be successful. I think Brendan's mindset, for every listener, is the opposite of the mindset you need to have if you want to win professionally.
But I think, you know what, John, though? Part of what we do here is wake motherfuckers up. And I think him hearing you say that could be like, what the fuck? Why am I thinking this way? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's good. So he wrote it in. Maybe he gets blasted. But look, when you have a coach that fucking gets on you, it's usually because they know, dude, you're being a punk right now. Get your shit together, right? Yeah. I know you got better in you. So the way I look at this is like, Brandon, you asked for the promotion or you worked hard for it. You're not the victim here. Oh, should I, I'm losing sleep and I don't. It's because you didn't tighten the screws enough on your fucking daily activities to accommodate what this responsibility is necessary to get this promotion. You're not the victim. You should be thinking, I'm the fucking victor. I have got another level in my career, but that is going to take precedence to a lot of these other things I got going on, and I might have to sleep a little less or work a little later and do these things that you have to sacrifice to get a better outcome, which is part of what I'm going to talk about later in the show or in shows soon after. So it's like, this is probably like one of the things, like, this is what you asked for. Why are now you like, oh, I don't want it. I want to live my passion. Dude, that's cool. You might want to live your passion. But at the end of the day, if you take this mentality out to live your passion, you're going to get your ass kicked.
And you know
like
what?
Every day.
I'm tired of hearing the word passion without it being backed up by what the fuck is your passion. This guy's talking about his passion. He's giving us no context.
Yeah.
So Brendan, did you actually think that your workload and your mental stress load would be the same at a entry-level position as it is when you get promoted? Like, have some awareness that when you fucking step the fuck up, so do the responsibilities.
Just remind yourself, am I acting like a victim or the victor? Everything I heard is victim. Like, oh, woe is me. Not, I'm fucking winning. This is what I have to do.
Bitch or a winner. Hashtag that shit.
Good t-shirt.
Very good.
Next, Bud Life.
Bud Life Q3.
I'm about to graduate college and go into life insurance sales. I have no debt. My girlfriend will graduate physical therapy school in 3 more years with just under $80K in debt. I'm very good at sales, and assuming I make between $100,000 and $200,000. Assume. Is it smarter to invest a majority of my income now or bank most of it in preparation for marrying my girlfriend of 5.5 years and having to pay off her debt?
So these are the 3 stupidest questions we've ever gotten in a row. Like, consecutively, these are the 3 stupidest fucking. What's this guy's name, Jeremy?
Nathan.
Yeah. So Nathan, like,
people are gonna be scared to send questions, John.
They should listen to the context of Nathan. Nathan's graduating. Okay. I don't know what Nathan did before college, but typically before college, you're studying hard to get a degree. Nathan predicts he's going to be into the six figures as an earner in insurance sales. Number one, that is based on nothing but your opinion. So what we try to give you here is context on everything. Once again, if you're going to make a claim like I'm going to make between $100,000 and $200,000, I want you to know you sound like a fucking moron, because like it's based on your thoughts. It's not based on anything you've previously done, and the gap between $100,000 and $200,000 is the same gap between $1 million and $2 million. And I would say those are two starkly different salaries. And then you move it into the space of, my girlfriend's going to have this debt. Should I save? Bro, you're talking about saving fucking money you haven't even made yet. And let me tell you something. Insurance sales is saturated with tens of millions of people in this country. You got a lot of motherfucking competition. So you're counting your money to support your to-be fiance who's probably going to leave you because you're going to be broke and you're not going to achieve anything because you're not prepared to work hard, because you're assuming all these things, bro. You need to actually accomplish something before you start making plans that involve financial shit, man.
This is the putting the cart before the horse. Is that the old saying?
Dude, this is putting 10 carts before like a one-legged horse.
Yeah. 10 carts, one-legged horse.
Yeah.
Amazing. That has to hit the ground.
Fucking Nathan.
So listen, Nate. My thing is
fucking Nate Dogg.
We should use that drop.
Yeah.
It's man, you're living in a hypothetical life,
dude.
and I can
see if that horse runs.
That's where a lot and all these questions, John, and I'll address Nathan's here, is that they're all in that same range of
if I'm an idiot.
Well, besides that, it's like the overall mentality of this is going, like, it's just, all this stuff is just like hypothetical, woe is me. That's all I hear.
Yeah, it's like you're getting like a really bad hand job.
I just think that you guys need to understand. That's hilarious, John. I just think that you need to understand that to win as an employee, as an entrepreneur, any of these things, all of these things you just heard cannot be the way that you operate. You can't assume all these things. You can't feel like you're the fucking victim. You can't, you got to take it by the fucking horns and go get it. Then if you're actually getting it, by the way, it's not easy to make $100 fucking grand, especially, and it's all sales.
No, it's not.
In insurance, by the way. Like, dude, me and John have all made these kinds of numbers, and the first time you make $100G ain't the easiest fucking thing you've ever done.
No.
Especially in a saturated environment, right? So, like, dude, the assumption is going to get your ass kicked hard.
Right.
And the fact that you're talking about, maybe you've been with this girl for 5 years, dude, your life can dramatically change in 36 months, 24 months,
Your life can dramatically
12
change in
months.
30 seconds.
Exactly. So thinking all these things, you're wasting all of this time thinking about what possibly could happen, counting money that doesn't exist. Dude, you're setting yourself up for some epic fucking problems. Handle what you've got going on in the next 48 hours in like an aggressive manner, and then string the next 48 hours together, and then the next 48 hours together. Dude, this is a recipe for fucking disaster. Straight talk wireless.
Get your horse some more legs.
Yeah. What was that reference again? One more time.
That dude had 10 carts and a horse with one leg.
Can a horse with one leg even stand up? I don't think so. But I think it's time.
That is the point.
But I think it's
that is
time.
the point.
I think it's an amazing time for Fosco's world.
Well, after the introduction,
that was a great warm up.
Listen to me. After the cheers, I'm back.
Yeah, you are. You are back.
I'm back, and it feels good. And I look up, I see the crowd, and they're all smiling at me. Of course, Cory, you're smiling at me. Thank you.
I am smiling after that last reference.
Okay, let's get into it. And I say this because this has, and I'll try to draw the path. This has an effect on each and every one of us. So I'm talking to everybody, and I don't want you to personalize this because you're going to be like, motherfucker, this relates to me.
Okay.
Okay. People need to stop caring so much about what their kids do and what their children do and what they're doing at all times. I'm going to start in a place where I know, and that place is how I grew up and how the kids around me grew up. Like, we were able to go outside without parents jumping out every hour or every 10 minutes. Oh, you can't be there. Cars are coming. We were able to run around the neighborhood and play tackle football without parents saying you're going to get a concussion. We were able to fucking get in fights in the yard and figure it out. We were able to get bullied and picked on, and we had to our parents weren't there to hold our fucking dicks at every turn. And our parents also didn't chart every grade we got in every class we got and talk to every fucking teacher. No, they let us develop as individuals. And that's probably why our generations and the ones above have an identity and aren't socially ill-equipped. You know, we talk about kids' sports all the time, and it's like, dude, like, your kid most likely sucks, and they're never going to go to any high level of sports. They're not going to be a professional. But so many people, and I saw this when I owned an MMA gym, so many people invest everything they have in the hope that their kid is going to be something, whether it be a great student or whether it be a great athlete, and they're willing to spend so much money, and they spend so much of their time and energy pressing on their kid to make their kid better at something that their kid probably doesn't even like, because they feel so much pressure to perform because the parents are getting them private coaches, private tutors, private this, private that. And the kid just can't be the motherfucking kid. He can't be with his friends. He can't spend fucking time figuring out who he is. And he can't deal with life on his own terms. Mommy and daddy are always involved in everything. And this connects to all of us, like I said at the beginning, because as we're out there in the world, as we're at coffee shops and we're dealing with 19-year-olds that give us the worst fucking service ever, we shouldn't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised because this whole generation, this fucking 22 and under, they've been babied everywhere. And their parents have had these expectations that, oh, he's going to be an astrophysicist. No, dude, what about he's going to be fucking a roofer? And that's okay. And he doesn't need a $1,000 a month fucking private basketball coach helping him shoot free throws. This is just the coddling of the sensitivity of all these kids that are guaranteed. They're guaranteed to be soft. They're guaranteed to run home to mommy and daddy, and they run home to mommy and daddy because mommy and daddy run to them. Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh, someone said something mean to you at school today. Motherfucker, let the kid live. Let the kid handle his own shit. Because when that kid gets older, he has to participate in society. And when he has to participate in society, I got to deal with him. Everyone's got to deal with him. Everyone's got to deal with her. And they're fucking soft. And they are not effective. And I just cannot understand how parents get so blinded by the light. I know parents love their kids. I know my parents loved me, right? My mom loved me. And they get so blinded by the fact that, dude, sure, you want your kid to do the best, but your kid is not owned by you. And you have to let your kid go through experiences, harsh, good, indifferent, whatever. That's how you grow. You stunt their growth. You, the parent, stunts their growth if you intervene at every fucking point. And I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing from fucking people about their kid does this, their kid does that. Let the kid grow up. Let the kid be who the kid wants to fucking be. And maybe I'll actually get some decent service at a fucking restaurant one of these days.
I didn't take that personal, so
yeah, because it wasn't directed towards
no, it didn't feel that way. So this is definitely an interesting topic because the aspirations. Look, we all thought, and I'm sure you probably thought this, you loved basketball, right, John,
Yes,
when you
I
were a
did.
kid? So did I. When did you realize you weren't going to the league?
Probably, 7th grade.
Sure, same, right? I was the same way. My jumper, shoot 1,000 of them, still scored 4 a game, never grew past 5'11". Knew that wasn't happening. So I think that my reality of understanding that and working with people in the world, as have you, that are that good of athletes, right? We've been around them for years, me and you both. I never had expectations on my kids to that level. I tried to set really short goals that lined up with what they wanted. So Alex has dropped sports over years. Baseball is what he likes. I just want to try to make the high school team. If that's your goal, dude, great. Do I think he's going to the major league? No. But if his goal is to make the high school baseball team and be a pitcher and he works for it, then I'm going to help him.
Sure.
Madeline, gymnastics, people are like, oh, maybe she'll make the Olympics. Probably not. But if she want to try to get a max scholarship in gymnastics, then I'll support her. If I ever have to tell her to go to practice, then I'm not going to support her.
Sure.
So I think that you have to draw those parallel lines. And the other thing that you kind of spoke about, which I'll speak on, is the fighting thing, right? Kids don't play backyard sports anymore, so they don't get in those tussles like we did. Like I fought all the kids I lived with, like on my street at one time or another, just because we were fucking mixing it up all the time. Alex comes to me because some kid's picking on him. I just said, punch him in the fucking face. I don't care what your teacher says or what your principal says. Like, you're not going to get in trouble with me. No one fights in this school. You punch them in the fucking face, they're never going to fuck with you again. Then I'll take you outside. My bag's knocked down because you saw that video. But
I did see that video. I don't believe it's on Instagram anymore.
But I was like, dude, you want to punch him in the face? I'll show you how to punch him in the face. Like, to me, it's like, and I don't like sugarcoat any of this stuff. Now I see it all over the place, right? Especially in my community. But I think that my big thing was life is so much softer because I'm not going to recreate how I grew up. That's part of my change in this like generation. But I don't really change how I would interact because of what's happened to me financially. So my interaction in this more like kind of back home, more aggressive to the point has not changed. I react the same way as I do in the gym. Like the way that I operate with my children is unfiltered. Rachel says I cuss way too much. I'm very direct, and I really don't care if it hurts their feelings because that's what needs to be said. Mm-hmm. So mom can coddle people because that's kind of their nature. Dad doesn't. And so I'll scream at my 8-year-old just like I scream at my 15-year or 14-year-old the same, because actually the 8-year-old's more aggressive than the older one and needs it younger. So it's like, it's one of those things where that people have to check that, but at the end of the day, that is a problem, the expectations. But I think because I've been around what the highest level athletes are, I understand that it takes an extremely small percentage to be that. But I think some people are blinded by that. But the sports has a lot of it to do.
Yeah, it has a lot. It has a lot. But to me, this is, I guess, where I was trying to steer the conversation is when these kids turn into functioning members of society, why everyone will agree that service is a lost art.
Yeah.
You have to trace the steps back and say, why is it a lost art? Because the people providing it are socially retarded.
Yeah.
That's why. Why are they socially retarded?
The technology is doing that to everybody for sure.
The technology is part of it, but the fact that my kid cried at school today and the teacher didn't do anything about it, so me as the parent is going to step in is fucking bullshit. Yeah. It's fucking bullshit because it tells the kid that my feelings supersede everything. And my dad or my mom is going to let you know. So it's this narcissism, it's this self-importance that will ultimately, this is business and biceps, it will make you unsuccessful in life and in work. Period. You know, in closing, I remember, I went to a private high school my freshman year where they could recruit athletes, and I played with 2 NBA players when I was a freshman in high school. Cory and Jeff Treadway.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I played with both of them, and I told my mom, I'm like, I want to be on the team, and she's like, okay, great. And I was like, yeah. So she's like, do what you got to do. And I'm like, they do workouts in this park every Saturday. She's like, okay, figure out how to get down there and go work out with them.
Yeah.
That was it. It was like I was 14 And I fucking found a way 17 miles into the city to go work out with them. My parents played no part in it.
Yeah.
I figured it out. And guess what happened when I went there to the head coach? He's like, who are you? And I was like, I'm John Fosco. I'm going to be a freshman this year. He goes, this is for varsity. I said, I know, but I want to work out with you guys. And he literally was like, yeah, this isn't for you. I said, but I'm going to show up. And he's like, well, fucking show up then. And I did.
That's how you make an impression.
That's it.
It's amazing.
And right now I think everyone is ready for Cory Gregory time.
I love that new drop, Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, that did originate in Chicago.
It did. And I actually used to mimic that in 1997 in my own high school basketball.
Very nice.
Reliving it, John.
Very nice.
And of course, I was Cliff Livingston.
And you were in a Dodge Fiero. For all those who
I never drove a Fiero, John.
For all those who are too young,
no,
look
Dodge
up
Omni. Dodge
Fiero
Omni.
and Omni.
I drove a Dodge Omni.
Okay.
All right, so today what I want to talk about is sacrifice over outcome. It's really based around some of the Q&A that we had just done too, is that I think when people go on this kind of journey, they always talk about, I'm on my journey, I'm on my fitness journey, I'm on this, and to live their passion, which is what everybody wants to do. And I get it. And that's what we talk about here, is that's what John and I do. But it doesn't come without an extreme amount of sacrifice, from social to financial to interaction with family, interaction with significant others, time involved with family, gone away from your kids, gone away from your parents, and also from my standpoint, because of the nature of my business, food choices, social choices, non-drinking for periods, all of these things play a part. They're all uncomfortable, and they're uncomfortable for long periods of time. Long periods of time. And as I've built multiple businesses in the fitness standpoint, early in my days, I would go months at a time, 6-7 months, and barely cheat on my diet, never drink, only do this most aggressive kind of style alongside building businesses. And by the way, I'm probably not the fucking nicest guy to deal with at that time. Now I've figured out some way better choices nowadays to manage that. But early in my career, I was so dedicated to being this person in the fitness realm that would able to build a business and grace the cover of magazines and do all these things that I was completely unbalanced, which is also the way that I built my business. And to understand that I wasn't willing to go to social night or happy hour or be out on Friday. I didn't go out with my friends when I was building my business at 20 years old when they lived on campus. I was working because I had this idea and this vision, and I was willing to sacrifice everything for the outcome. I think where people got it fucked up right now is they believe that outcome comes without the sacrifice. It doesn't fucking work that way. The reason why my outcomes continue to go where they're going is because I continue to sacrifice things. Now, earlier in your career, it's extreme. And even as you push the limits, it's going to get extreme again. But it's always a steady amount of it. Now, nowadays, it's more normal because it doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It's just what I do. But when you look at the norm of how everybody does things, you got to understand that it doesn't fit in that circle. You're going to be way outside of there, somewhere else, doing your own thing on your own. People used to tell me all the time, dude, you're in your own world. Yeah, motherfucker, I am, because I'm creating my own world. Because this is what it takes to do what I see in my head. The unseen is where the juice is at. I've been seeing this shit forever. And I continue to see it. And I don't give a fuck if anyone else sees it. I need my team members to see it, and I need to see what they see. And through communication, at the end of the day, I'm the only one that sees it. I know where I want to be. I know where I'm going. And guess what? This shit is keep coming true. No one knighted me. No one said, yo, you got the fucking, I heard people talking about, you got the gold touch. Man, fuck all that. No, I'm willing to do something you're not willing to do. And I'm willing to do it every day. And I'm one of the most consistent motherfuckers you're ever going to meet. Because guess what? I wasn't the most talented or had the best genetics or had the fucking setup with the money. Motherfucker, I was born with nothing. Nothing. I didn't have some amazing strength, or I wasn't already ripped. My parents didn't have no fucking money. No one fucking helped me. Dude, I was lifting cement weights in water jugs in my trailer thinking one day this is going to be something for me.
Sure.
And I was like, you know what? Whatever comes in my way, I'm going to sacrifice to get it so I can change it forever. And that's the way I think. And motherfuckers, if you want it, you have to be willing to do that. And if you're not, then get a fucking job and do what someone else wants you to do. And even at that case, if you want to ascend, you still got to do it.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, based off all those questions that we just heard, that shit is fucking soft. And that ain't going to get you nowhere.
No.
And you need punched in the face by John Fosco.
I'll punch you. You sure? Yeah, I'll do
and
that.
maybe you need a fucking punch in the face from me too.
Yeah, there
because
you
that's
go.
really what the fuck it takes.
Yeah, you know, we'll give him a 3-piece soda pop. But to your point, you know, I think that being comfortable and being content, and this may sound backwards, but please hear me out, with being afraid, like being comfortable, being afraid, and knowing that that's part of it. Being comfortable being in pain, and being comfortable with loss, and being comfortable with all these things that everyone literally at every turn tries to run from, is where you will find yourself. Because essentially, when you're trying to grow into something like you're talking about and sacrifice and get these things that you see in your head, you're going to be dealing with fear, suffering, pain, loss, constant. I deal with it constantly. And
it's inevitable.
It's inevitable, but people mask it and people run from it. And when it shows its face, people think that's the time when you run. But that's the time when you go towards it, because if you have a fear or if there's pain in front of you and you take it on head on and you fucking win, dude, that's like a battle scar.
Exactly.
It's a battle scar. And next time
it's
you
confidence.
go into battle, it's confidence, and it shows that you understand that you don't just get to the top, that there is this whole long, arduous process that entails fear, pain, and suffering that takes you to the top. And accepting that that's part of it, not running from it, not putting it on your friend or your mom, and figuring out a way for you to solve it individually is how you get there. And I think a lot of people may hear that and say, what? Like, don't I just fucking like do good work? And then like, no. Like, success is taxing on the mind. It's taxing on the soul. And it requires an abnormal amount of consistency that takes things away from you. And if you think just doing your work is going to make you successful, or just doing your work good, you're wrong. You know, you're wrong. You need to be ready to face things that you don't want to face, and you have to submit to it.
Well, and when people early in my career be like, dude, you're obsessed with this stuff. Like, motherfucker, obsession is what's going to make it happen. It's what I think about. It's what I do. It's what I dream about. It's what I want. It's everything. And so I have to be obsessive, because the amount of hours that it's going to take, by the way, you don't know how many hours it's going to take. I'm going to use them all. Yeah. I'm going to use them all because it's going to take them all. And then when I would tell people, like, you know, I used to have people like, oh yeah, you know, that's just a local dude. I should just mix up, you know, my pre-workout and get something kind of going the same. Yeah, sounds that easy, huh? Like, how about would you sign up for 20 years of not going to this or that, and having these people leave your life, and having this go up and go down, and being on top and being sideways and starting new, and all this turmoil and all these things that you got to battle through and grow? Motherfuckers wouldn't sign up for it, bro. If they really knew what John Fosco's went to this point, think of all those things, John, all those different partners, all those different businesses to get to right now how you operate. Absolutely. Or right now how I operate.
Nothing scares me. And truly. So
because you've been through the ringer.
Because absolutely, and because I know what it takes if I'm going to go get what I want. And if you have fears of things, fears will cause you to make awful decisions, and they real simply, they'll just take you off your path.
Yep.
So if you can't be intimidated, if you have no fear, if nobody can take you off the track of believing what you believe, then you're going to get somewhere. But until you can conquer those very human emotions that are a large part of business, it's going to be a tough road.
Well, and I played all those essentially, people think it's like some voodoo mind game shit, but I visualized, thought about, dreamed about, implemented, worked around, continued like this process for literally since I was like 19 years old. And I could see all these things way before they came true. Not only could I see them, I read Think and Grow Rich and all the things from Andrew Carnegie and all this stuff from Napoleon Hill. And I don't believe that's the end all be all, but at the end of the day, I created in my mind to the point where I could feel what it would feel like. The first time, dude, it took me all those years plus 8 years when I was someone in the fitness industry to get that first cover. When I went to pick it up at Barnes and Nobles and actually physically grab it, I had already felt it. I already knew what it felt like. It wasn't new to me. Literally, I was that dialed into it. I wanted it that bad in my life. I walked in, I grabbed it, and I kind of laughed to myself. I thought, I've done this so many times in my mind. And then when I got to hand it to my grandfather, that was the other thing that I wanted to feel. That's what I'm saying is it's at an obsessive level because that's what it takes.
Absolutely. It's an expectation of yourself.
It's cool. So I think that was a really cool change in the format, Fosco. What do you think?
Absolutely. I like starting with questions, although these were the worst questions we've ever gotten in.
I don't think they were the worst, but they were good. Compliment to the segments.
They were really bad.
Don't be scared. Send your questions still if you want a free T-shirt.
Yeah, please do it. But yeah, man, I'm having fun, and I think the two topics we hit on, they're just very relevant. They're very
Absolutely.
relevant, and people need to hear this shit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Johnny, it's time for the main event.
We need the bell to be rang. For whom the bell tolls. It's a great song. You should download it.
John, I'm going to let you go ahead and size up this topic, give it some context, and I'll work off of you, my brother.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah. When people get into their first, not even their fucking first, the majority of working systems, companies, opportunities in their professional life, they get this whole spiel of this team atmosphere. You're now part of the team, da-da-da-da-da. And you know what? People buy into it. And part of them should, but I want people to be very acutely aware that that is a game. Being an employer, you being an employer as well, that is a game that companies play to get you to follow marching orders and to temper your expectations on what you should and could earn financially. So I was talking to someone the other day about this as well. It's like you have to always, at every point in your career, look out for number one. So when you get this entry-level job or when you get your second job, if you really believe it's about the company, here's what I want you to know. The company is going to want to get the most out of you, the most hours out of you, the most time out of you, the most quality out of you at the lowest possible price. That's called net margin, right? That's called profit. What you want to get out of them is an understanding. You want them to have an understanding that you completely buy into their program. Now, the key is don't completely buy into their program. I want you to buy into their program when you're talking to representatives of the company, whether it be your boss, the owner, whoever. But you need to know that you are there for number one. You are there for yourself. You're there for your financial future. You're there for your life stability. You're there for your family. Right? And so what does that mean? That means that you need to aggressively dissect your job and figure out how you can do something at a level that's higher than everyone else and how that can correlate to making more money. Because what a lot of companies will do is they will tell you, oh, you get a 6-month review, you get a 1-year review, you could be up for a 4% increase in pay. And most people don't take the bull by the horns. Like I naturally did this, luckily, and it fucking worked. So that's part of the reason I'm sharing this is when you perform and when you bring value to a company, do some research on the value you brought. Find out what the person in your place before did. Compare it to your numbers, and all these numbers are readily available. And then you can measure yourself. And you can find out what you're worth to that fucking company. And when you find out what you're worth to that company, if there is significance there, if you are doing much more than the people before you, you need to go to a superior. And you need to say, listen, man, I'm outperforming somebody by $218,000 year over year. I'm making 42 grand right now. I need to be at 75, and here's why. And when you can show them a $212,000 increase year over year, they're going to have a really hard time. Again, as a guy who is on the other side of this, they're going to have a really hard time telling you no. Because businesses, all good businesses, they're built on people. And I never want people working in a system to underestimate their own value, because that's when you work for 20 years, you make $60,000, and they let you go for a new guy who just graduated college because his salary is going to be 34.
I think the big thing is that you can work well alongside others, but you got to understand that everyone is there for themselves. And I don't think people really process it that way. Your person that sits in your cubicle next to you that gives you Jolly Ranchers at snack time,
Margie,
they are never going to pay your bills. They're not going to be able to pay your car note. They're not going to help your investments. They don't give a fuck, really. They might kind of care or surface care during the day, but at the end of the day, you should have a true strategy to showcase how much you're kicking their ass, if you are in fact kicking their ass. And if you're not, you should be kicking their ass, because they're probably just riding it out, trying to be there for 15, 20, try not to have their boss walk in their fucking office, stay low key, get that pay. But if you're really performing and you bring A game to the table, don't fuck it up when you bring the game, though. Don't come to John Fosco or Cory Gregory and not have your numbers together. But if you can back it up, there's no reason that you can't ask for a nominal amount more, because your value is proven. And I think that having a strategy, no matter what work environment you're in and how good your team is, that's just the reality. Like, me and John work amazing together, but John has to look out for John's interest and Cory has to look out for his interest. And that at the end of the day, when we go to sleep, we're business partners and we work on the up and up, but we have to also look at what's good for us. It's just the way it is. And everyone, that's a reality. That's why John always says having friends in business is a luxury.
100%.
You can be ultimately respectful. You can fucking work together amazing. You probably have coworkers that feel like they're real cool with you. But if you can't pay your electric bill tomorrow, are they paying yours for you?
Yeah, bro.
John might if I ask him, but at the end of the day, that's not his job.
It's like this. If you work in an office, would anybody be there today if they weren't getting a paycheck?
Oh.
Okay. So you should know, if someone asked me right now, with this endeavor or with this business or that business, what are you getting out of it and what could you potentially get out of it? I could answer that question so specifically, and I could probably shock people with how specifically I can ask that question, because I don't work for free. I don't work for anything close to free. I know what I'm worth, and it's not a cocky statement. It's based on what I'm willing to give and what I've done. So if you're sitting there and you have a job and you don't know what you want, what you're in line to get, and how you're going to get so much more, if you don't understand that, because guys, that's why we work. Sure, we want to work in places that provide interest and that we enjoy and that there's a passion. All this stuff we talk about, right? But at the end of the day, you work to get paid. I work to get paid. So don't feel, Sheryl Sandberg, the CEO of Facebook, famously wrote a book, Lean In. It was more about women asking for more money in the workplace, but it should be for everybody. And it's just about like, dude, when you're a performer, lean the fuck in, ask for what you're worth, and if they won't give it to you, if the company you currently work for will not give it to you, you have a usable skill that the free market needs, and someone sure as fuck will give it to you. That's where there's this mentality that a lot of owners try to hold their employees down because they don't want them rebelling and getting the money they're worth. And guys, this is real talk. Again, I'm not in that position. I'm the one who fucking will write the check to the employee. But at the end of the day, this is the truth. You need to know your worth and you need to be willing to battle for it. But like Cory alluded to earlier, you cannot go in, ask for money, and fuck up your numbers.
Don't pee down your leg, homies.
You better know your shit's right because that's when you get fucking worked over. You look like a moron, and someone actually teaches you how to count, and that's not a good position. But just don't cut yourself short and literally fucking lean in.
What I'm hoping from this segment, John, is that there's somebody that is in a situation like this, which most everyone is, and that they start to think about their strategy more, not just clocking in and getting along with everybody, but start to really think like, how do I really climb in this thing? How do I really ask for more? How do I perform more, calculated, ask for more, perform more, calculated, like, how do I really go about this? And I think that if we can get a few people to just start to search a little deeper, to want more for themselves or push. They're here because they want more.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? That's why you're listening right now. So put some of this stuff into play, and go get it.
I'll give you guys.
We didn't get here because we didn't go get it, John.
Yeah, I'll give you guys an example. Like the first time I started making money, this company, I believe they're out of business now, CompUSA, they refused to hire me. I think I was 16 years old. They refused to hire me and allow me to be in the computer section because I knew nothing about computers. They put me in the printer section and they wanted me to clean it. Once I got there, my first day on the job, I just started talking to coworkers like, hey man, how do you make money? Do you get paid anything when you sell that? And they're like, yeah, dude, if you sell screen protection on a laptop, you get like an $80 commission. If you sell this laptop this month, you get like a $120 commission. And I literally said, fuck cleaning up over here. And I started fucking selling computers. Month 1, I set the record for highest sales and I knew nothing about a computer. This isn't about me. What it's about is I walked in there and I literally looked at the landscape and I said, how does the money come down from the tree? Oh, it comes down like this. Fuck that. And guess what happened after I started outselling everybody? Well, then they said, stay in that section and never fucking move.
Yeah, of course.
Because if I'm making $80 in commission, the company's making $1,000. So that's literally what we're talking about. Taking the bull by the horns and understanding how the money flows somewhere and you don't need permission to win. If you win, you're going to be supported.
That's true.
If you go get in people's way and you fucking fail, then you might have a problem. But I'm willing to bet on myself, and that's what I did even when I wasn't aware of it at that age. That's what we're talking about.
Well, we talk about this a lot. Like we've worked with a bunch of different people since we've had a business together. The guys who deliver are never going to get put backwards or held down. It's the guys that just like try to get around it, don't deliver on a regular basis, always got an excuse. Like there's just no time for baby time. You either fucking get it done or you don't. And if not, move on down the road. And you should ascend if you continue to do that and continue to grow skill set wise. Yeah, it's really not that fucking crazy of a thought process.
Yeah, like if you don't know how your manager makes money and you don't know when they got promoted and if you don't know how they got promoted and how that like this recon work, I'll call it, is what every smart business person does, because, dude, you got to go make that move. But history teaches us many fucking lessons. And if you're in a specific company with specific politics and people act and promote based on certain values or certain behaviors, you must know how it works. And that's like a blueprint. That's like a playbook to follow. And if you're sitting there working somewhere for 3 years and you don't know that playbook, then you're just clocking in and clocking out. And don't send questions to this fucking show.
Yeah, once again, you're not paying attention to your surroundings and understanding how it works. Dude. So I think it's just that extra critical thinking based around where you're at in life and where you want to go. Don't just mindlessly wander.
Dude, you should know more about the business you work in than here's one thing you could take away. You should be the guy or the gal in your office that wants to know and does the work to know more about your company than anyone in your office. I don't care if you have to study at night like at school to understand how your company functions, how they make money, because then you could fucking move, you could duck, you could spin, you can do all these things because you know how your company functions. And every company functions differently because people control companies and people function differently.
And the superiors like the people that have the answers because it makes their work way fucking easier too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's efficient. Oh, hey, you know what? If I know I go to Jeremy every time something podcast related, I know he's going to know it or he'll figure it out quick. Then you start to understand, like, this is our guy. He got it. We'll get it back. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody,
it gives us more time.
Exactly. The guys that are running stuff aren't just sitting around pointing, which is, we've heard that question a few times. At the end of the day, they're growing the business. They're being creative. You have to run a business that's happening right now, and you got to run a business that's, you know, potentially going to happen, or where your moves are going between your SKUs and your marketing and things of that nature. Like, there's a lot of things going on. And so when you're executing on all this stuff, having people that always know their shit is mandatory.
Absolutely.
Make yourself that person. So
look out for number one.
Good stuff, John. Yeah. I think we can wrap it there. I think it was some really good content today. If you didn't get motivated by this fucking episode, I don't know what the fuck to do. I mean,
there's many things.
You got punched in the face.
There's many things anatomically missing if you didn't get motivated.
Ball sack.
Sure, that could be one of them.
All right, it's brought to you by Fundrise, John. So at Fundrise, they are just a great service to enable you instant access to high quality, high potential private market real estate projects, from high rises in DC to multifamily units, apartments in LA, Johnny.
I like apartments in LA, and here's the deal. Each Fundrise investment allows investors to diversify instantly across dozens of real estate projects, each one carefully vetted and actively managed by Fundrise's team of real estate pros. People say, why should I put my money in real estate, Cory? And the reason is private market real estate has historically provided excellent ongoing cash flow, even as it supports long-term growth. So private market assets like these are a strategy for diversifying beyond public market investments and even other kinds of real estate like publicly traded REITs. That's REIT_S.
Man, John, you know so much. Yeah. Fundrise.com/biceps today to check it out. It's also brought to you guys by Square Payroll. A lot of people believe that Square is just a car reader. Well, they do that really well at billions of dollars a year, but they have so many other services, from, you know, being able to have to pay your employees and your contractors off of the health and other benefits, sync up your employee hours automatically, like all of those things, and the payroll service provider that they offer at square.com/go/biceps. You really should check that out. I mean, they just have so many things at Square, John.
Yeah, I mean, people know Square and they like Square because when it comes to processing, right, payment processing, it's a simple rate. There's no fees and there's no long-term contracts. That's the extent of most people's knowledge when it comes to Square, is just that. But like you said, they do payroll. They partner with people who provide loans.
Yeah.
And they literally provide solutions for small businesses and larger enterprises alike that are constantly evolving. They're literally a one-stop shop.
I would have looked so much more legit if I had them when I was a personal trainer when I was 20.
But the problem is you were listening to Too Legit to Quit by MC Hammer. And
I actually was.
Yeah, I believe that.
Square.com/go/biceps today. Check it out. Johnny Fosco.
Cory Gregory.
Can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast can't be stopped.